Radio check. That's not loud enough. Radio check. Okay, now we're looking a little more 5x5. Hello, hello. It has been about 3 weeks or so since I've last been able to stream. My apologies for that. Life's a little weird sometimes. We lost a pretty close furry friend, and then the work life got a little bit difficult. It's hard to make enough money to survive as a flight instructor sometimes, and so it's been a lot of extra hours, including 17 hours on a Friday night. We're talking 1 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next morning, so that was really fun. Yeah, it's just been really difficult trying to get hours, trying to get by, especially with student loan payments, but you know, we're doing the best that we can, and we are going to come out on top. So despite the difficulties, I am back. I am all for this. I am ready to go. Today we're flying a couple of flights that I was on recently, although I do have to apologize ahead of time. There is a slight possibility that I won't be able to continue to the second flight because I got I'm on standby basically for a de-icing call late at night around midnight Eastern time, so we'll see what comes out of that. As of right now, it's looking like I should be able to stay for the 2 flights, but if anything changes, I'll let you guys know, and we might not be able to continue, but we're just gonna be optimistic and hope we can do both. We're gonna start off with the Aerosoft CRJ V2. This is a real flight that I've been on recently from Buffalo to Detroit, and then continued to Detroit to Minneapolis. And in the second leg, we will run the PMDG 737-800 and see how it performs. In good news, I have a potential really good career option coming up, but that is to be saved for later, because I'm not sure how, guaranteed it is. So we do have some good news, but for now, we're just going to get back into it and do some flying and enjoy the view. One thing I did different today is we are on VATSIM. However, I did decide to we're doing live weather and all that, obviously, but I decided to change the time because I know that based off of the time that I can stream, we've only been able to do night flights, so we're going to do a little more than night flights this time. We're going to do a daytime flight, just to change, the view and the scenery a little bit, which is good. One thing that I just randomly noticed is this little fuel spill or whatever this is over here. That's kind of unique, pretty realistic. That does happen occasionally. So yeah, anyway, we're going to get into the plane and we're going to get started, and we'll see if I still remember how to fly a plane. Let us get into it. Right on. So now we're in the Aerosoft CRJ 900. We're operating as Endeavor Air, flight 4369, service to Detroit. Pretty short flight, looking at just under an hour, probably about like 50 minutes, something like that. It's just basically a hop across Lake Erie the long way. Unfortunately, in the simulator, I don't think it'll show us that big old crack that's in the lake, but I did actually get to see that in the air on a real flight yesterday, so that was kind of cool to see live from the air. It is in fact a massive crack. I feel like it's almost a mile wide in most spots. Very unique, the Great Lakes, the way they freeze, the way the winds blow and creates these cracks. It's truly their own phenomenon, honestly. So, but yeah, anyway, let's get into it and get ourselves over to Detroit, so then we can carry on to Minneapolis. All right. So first things first, we're going to come up top. We're going to give the aircraft some power, but first thing is we got to get rid of these dome lights, if I remember how to do that. Should be able to just turn these off. what, this is not working now? Because I thought this was how it worked before. Unless, is it these ones? Interesting. Maybe I have to provide power to the aircraft to turn them off. I'm surprised that they're on without power anyway. This is clearly is still an issue in the sim, so we're just going to have to deal with it as necessary. No major issues there. So, power to the aircraft. First thing, let's go ahead and turn on the battery master. And then we're going to open up the APU doors, and we're going to check that huh? Is this plane broken? What? This is strange. Okay, let's, turn the battery off and on again, see if that does something for us. Okay. That's so weird. Okay, let's see. Can we hook up a GPU? Oh, wheel chocks. I didn't realize that those were removed. Does that have something to do with this? No. What in the heck is going on? Okay. Let's try connecting the ground power. And I guess if that doesn't work, maybe we'll just have to reload. Definitely not a problem I was expecting to have. Do we have ground power? Connected. Okay. Okay. Weird. Okay. I'm gonna reload the sim, and we'll see if that gets us anything, because I have never experienced that problem before. Alright, we're gonna reload the sim and come back to it. My apologies. I don't even actually know what happened there, but we're going to try one more time. BRB. Okay, so to do what I want to do, it seems like we have to reload the entire sim, so bear with me. My apologies. So it looks like maybe I just am not able to do live weather without real time because of the sim itself. This is... Stand by, folks. Working on it. Okay, now what's really weird is now I'm finally getting screens, but I'm still getting some beeping that I don't like, that you don't usually hear, but we're just gonna try it anyway, see what happens. Okay, we're gonna open the APU, LCV up, and doors open. Let's go ahead and start the APU. And now I guess we'll just see if it loads exactly as it's supposed to. Okay, the RPM is rising, the EGT is also rising. Maybe it was just a weird glitch trying to be on VATSIM and not live time. It's very strange. Or maybe I have to change the time in sim, but I thought that VATSIM boots you out when you try to do that. I don't know. Okay, so it seems like everything's coming alive. Now, let's go ahead and turn all the lights on so we can see. Alright, and actually before anything else, since I reloaded, I have to redo the weights and everything. So let's go to our OFP and try and reload everything. So we're dealing with 63 passengers. Cargo altogether is going to be 3150. So let's put 1,000 up front. And the other 2150 in the back. In the aft, I should say. Block fuel today is going to be 79.80, so let's throw that in there. Okay, and then we're just gonna make sure that the payload properly sets in the simulator. Yes, yes it does. Cool. Alright, so I think everything's alright. It was quite a thing, but alright. So now the camera's coming on. Alright, I think we are in a good spot now. Fingers crossed. Right on. So let's go up top here and let's just run through some flows. So all of these switches are all extinguished. This is good. Generators are all in the auto position. Excellent. The fire detection, I believe, is still not properly working, so we're just going to ignore that for now. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, let's just get our IRS knobs to nav mode. Real quick, put in a GPS position. So while we're doing our flows, this computer can think and align the IRSs. Like so. Cool. Now back to our flows. Hydraulic SOVs are both closed, guarded, and extinguished. Good. Nav lights are coming on, logo lights on, so the ground crew knows we're powered up. Fuel pumps can stay off for now. Fuel flow override, everything's extinguished. Excellent. Bleed air is normal. Bleed valves are auto. ISOL valve is in the closed position, but it is auto, so it should be open. We can confirm somewhere over here. Yep, ISOL open. There it is. Cool. Bleed source is in both engines, which is where we want it. AP was on, good. Engine start switches are all extinguished, good. Ignition is extinguished, good. Hydraulics can stay in the off position for now. We'll go ahead and set our landing elevation at Detroit, which we're looking at 645. So and we're going to verify that that's 640, and bang, look at that. I have the knob clicks down to a T. Everything else here is good. Manual pressurization we don't need. We're doing automatic. Emergency depress is closed, guarded, and extinguished. Packs can come on. Recirc fan can go on. We'll start getting some heat in the back. It's a little bit on the warmer side of winter here in Buffalo, but it is still a little bit cold. Customers probably prefer 70 degrees rather than, 30 to 35. Good. These cabin switches are all fine here. We'll just leave them there. Anti-ice can all stay off for now. Windshield heat is going to be on low. Probes off for now. Dome light is on. Good. We'll leave it on for now. Landing lights are all off. That's good. ELT is armed. Passenger oxygen, light extinguished, and it's guarded. Excellent. Passenger signs, we'll go ahead and flip those on. Emergency lights can be armed, like so. Come to the lower pedestal here. We're looking for the anti-skid to be in the arm position. We are going to want to see the annunciators for the bay overheat. That passes, and the warn fail. Look at that. Sweet. Cool. Lamp test. Look at that. Everything lights up. Excellent. Coming through here, all of these are extinguished. Engines N1 is good. Lights are fine in the bright position. Ground proximity is extinguished. Excellent. And that looks good. Thrust levers are in the cutoff position. That's good. Roll disconnect is stowed. Pitch disconnect is stowed. Thrust reversers can come on. Spoilers are auto. That's fine. I like that there for now. Looking at our radio stack here, we were given a squawk code by Auto ATC. ATC is currently not online in the Buffalo area. Gonna double check that, and that still applies. Nice. So our squawk code by Auto ATC is 5240. So we'll throw that in there. Five, 240, and then I do want to also do it on my radio stack. They don't really talk all that well, but we're going to make sure they're both the same so I don't run into any issues. Okay, that looks good. Excellent. Transponder, we'll take it off of standby in a second. Cool. All of the volume knobs are good. The radar gain knobs are all fine for now. Not expecting very much weather along the way. It seems to have cleared out along our path for the most part. Okay, ATC select is 1. Standby disappeared. Transponder's good. Standby radio can come on. Excellent. Stab trim will engage on both sides and engage the mock trim. Nice. Fans are both in the normal position. Excellent. IRSs are in nav. Currently aligning. That's good. Flight deck door can't really do anything with, so we'll just leave it as is. All these pages we'll check in a second here. Yaw damper can't seem to engage until the IRSs are aligned, so we'll just leave those for now. Looking all in the normal position down here for the, I believe this is all for like the 80 AHRS stuff, but it's all normal, so that's good. Volume knobs are fine and everything on the right side. Cargo Fire X, these lights are extinguished. Nice. Emergency landing gear is stowed. ADG is stowed. Emergency flaps are normal. And everything looks just as it should down here. Excellent. Alright, so like I said, ATC is not online. We have a cruise altitude of flight level 200, 20,000 feet today. So we'll just set that ahead of time. And based off of the winds at Buffalo, which I'm going to check right now. I do believe we're taking runway 23. Yep, 240 at 10, so that's going to be runway 23. So we should be heading of 230 on the heading bug. Like so. I did see that our trim should be 6.4. I'm going to double check that on the performance. Yep, 6.4, so I'm just going to do that now before I forget. 6.4, just like so. So altitude is set, heading is set, everything else on the autopilot is fine for now. Let's come over to the left side here. Altimeter setting in Buffalo today, right now, is 297.4. So let's go ahead. Oh, it's in millibars for some reason. 297.4. At least my settings still have everything synced. That's good. 297.4. V-speeds today. We'll set those right off of the bat. I'm just going to give this a little bit of light so I can actually see the knobs. So going for V1, which we're looking at 136 based off of the EFB. So we'll tune that up to 136. Nice. Go to VR, which is 137. We should be looking for a dry runway today. And then V2 is 149. Like so. And VT is 196. So a little bit of scrolling here. Alright, so everything looks good on the left side here. We did our V speeds, we did our takeoff pitch and everything, so I guess the next move is to come to the FMS and actually start plugging in some numbers. One thing I'm actually going to do real quick is get our flex temp, because that's takeoff. It's nice that SimBrief actually does that for you. So we're looking at a select temp of 42, so we'll keep that in mind. Let's go to flight plan. We are in Buffalo. We're going to Detroit Metro. If I could speak, our alternate today is Cleveland. So we'll just get that on standby, ready to go. No reason that we shouldn't be able to land in Detroit right now, but just to be safe, throw it in there. Back to our takeoff calculation, just so I don't forget. Excellent. Flight number today, we are Endeavor 4639. Sweet. And our first waypoint, we don't have any departures out of Buffalo, so our first waypoint is going to be Donio, and then Donio is actually going to be our transition to, oh, you know what, we could do Buff 8. That makes sense. We are taking off runway 23. Good. Execute that. Go to our flight plan via Buff 8 to Donio. Yep, that's good. And then Donio leads us to our arrival. So we'll go to arrivals. We're going to plan for runway 22 right going into Detroit. So let's do ILS Yankee 22 right. We are doing the Top Gun 2 arrival. Donio transition like so, and we'll just do vectors to the ILS, which is fine. Execute that. Then we'll go to our legs page. We'll get rid of our discontinuities like so. Execute and make sure there's no more. There are. So we'll take Wonder right here and fill in our discontinuity. And we're clear. Good. So now we'll go back to flight plan, do a little perfinite. Today, going back to our OFP, we're looking at a 63 passenger flight. So not a full flight by any means, but we got enough to make it. 3150 for our cargo. Fuel, we'll just put in what we have currently, which is 7930, according to up there. 7930, like so. Cruise altitude today is going to be flight level 200. Not too high up there, but you know, if we went any higher than that, we wouldn't even get to cruise. We'd be climbing straight to descent. So we'll execute that profile. Good. Go to our next page. Cruise winds, we'll just throw top of climb winds, which is 270 at 95. So we are fighting a headwind on the way there. And a relatively stiff one at that. Okay. Next page. Reserves, we're looking for 3040. 3040 on the reserves, like so, and that looks good. Alright, so VNAV setup, we're just going to take a peek here, see what it wants us to throw in here. 290 Mach 0.74 is just fine, we'll leave that. Cruise, so top climb, it has us at 320.71. Okay. So 320, it wants us to cruise at 0.71, so we're going to be a little bit on the slower side today. That's probably just because we're higher up. And then on the way down, we're going to be looking at 301.65. So Mach 0.65 / 301. Like so. Okay, that looks good to me. We'll go to the original performance page here, and our select temp was, I believe, 42. Gonna double check that. Yep, 42. Look at that. Flex temp 42. Nice. Cool. So we have our performance, we have our flight plan, everything's loaded up in here. Still waiting for the IRSs to align, which I'm surprised it is still going with that, but that's not too much of an issue. So we're looking good on our performance, looking good on the FMS, and we're just going to double check our checklists here. Test the oxygen, just so I don't forget. Test it on this side as well, if I can. Yes, I can. Nice. Oop, and the cockpit voice recorder. Look at that, we get the green light. Excellent. Up, and our IRSs are aligned. So now we can come down here and we'll engage the yaw damper, like so. And that message disappears. Good. We'll get rid of our warnings and cautions. And since we are on the first flight of the day, let's go ahead and just do a GPWS test. Might as well. Maybe. Okay, our messages did just disappear, so maybe if I do this.
Flight slow.
There we go.
Pull up.
I'm doing all right today.
Wind
No
shear.
pressure.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Sink rate. Pull up. Terrain. Pull up. Don't sink. Don't sink. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Gear. Too low. Flaps. Too low. Terrain. Flight slow. Bank angle. Bank angle. Minimums. 100. 50. 20. 10. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Too low. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. 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 Pull up.
Alright, it did the whole thing, which actually I'm used to these simulator aircraft kind of cutting it short, but that's actually kind of cool. We'll wait for this light to stop blinking, and then we're going to test our TCAS. Actually, we should do the stick shakers. Which are working really good. Sweet. And let's go ahead and, if this would let me, test our TCAS. Okay, we're getting the blips, we're getting the red lines on the VSI, traffic indicators,
TCAS test pass.
and the test passes. Nice. Alright, so we're looking on a frequency of 120 point, I believe it's 1205, it might be 7, let me double check here. It is 1205, nice. So CTAF is 1205, still no one on the line, so we are going to be on CTAF, which is A-OK. Go ahead and flip that. Okay, 1205 in our en route. CTAF Unicom is also on standby. Looks good. Double check the checklist here, so everything. External lights are checked. Fuel panels good. Bleed air, yep. Actually, I do want to check our electronics real quick. Come down here. We're looking at everything's in the green. APU generator's working just fine. Look at the battery. Battery's looking good. Everything's in the green. Proper voltage and amperage. All right. Hydraulics. Oops. Everything looks green for what's on. That's good. Let's go ahead and turn those on now. So this one can go to auto. Okay, all of them are on auto. And look at that, we got 3,000 PSI from the center, 3A, which is good. Excellent, so hydraulics look fine. Cool, hydraulic panels checked, ELT is armed, cabin pressure is good, air conditioning is fine, anti-ice is good, windshield heat, yep. Emergency lights, standby compass, nose wheel steering is off. Clocks are set. Instrument panels are checked. Upper pedestal is checked. Thrust lever quadrant is good. Avionics are checked. Trims were set. Yaw damper is engaged. And select source panel. We're going to verify that that is FMS1 right here. Yep, good. Alright, before start, let's go ahead and get ourselves ready. So passenger signs are on. Landing elevation is set. Altimeters are set. FMS is checked and set. IRSs are aligned and in nav mode. Radios and nav aids, we did set our radios just now, and takeoff briefing is good. Alright, so we'll do just before a pushback here. So the devices, we're just going to leave the EFBs off, or leave them on. APU is on, electrics are checked, good. Takeoff data set, doors and windows. Alright, so one thing we can do is we can flip the beacon on here. And we'll get the jet bridge detached. Oops. There we go. Alright, we'll remove the chocks. And I'm actually going to make sure we have the charts here. I don't really need the airport diagram. I'm pretty familiar. Wow, was that bright. Okay, so the Buffalo 8 departure, oop, this is glitchy. We're just going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, so top altitude is 10,000, but ATC is not online, so we're fine there, whatever. Climb heading, that's if you're taking off 5. 235 until leaving 3,000, okay, so that's going to be a runway heading. So why don't we go ahead and set that in our heading bug, 235. Like so, nice. And everything else, yep, routing vectors to assign route, yeah, it's all assuming that ATC is online, that's fine. Cool. Alright, so when we leave 3,000, we should be good to proceed direct to our first waypoint, which is Donio. Hydraulic pumps are all on, fuel pumps, beacons on, good. Fuel pumps can come on, and parking brake can turn off when we're ready for push, which I think we are. We're just going to go in external view here, verify that no one's behind us. Everything looks good. Alright, so we're doing runway 23. Alright, so I still don't have a proper pushback plugin for this sim. I really need to remember to get one, so we're just going to do the good old Shift P and pray for the best. Okay? Right on, so let's do it. Shift P. Oh, and it switched my frequencies on me for some reason without my command to do so. Alright. Buffalo traffic, Endeavor 4639er is pushing back from gate 20 towards Alpha Buffalo. Not that anyone needs to know, but, you know. Mr. Mushy, how are we doing, my guy? I'm glad you could join us. I'm sorry I have been on a bit of a streaming halt lately. It's been quite an interesting ride, but how are you? It's good to see you again. Sorry I was hyper-focused that whole time. Alright, right on. So we are clear behind. Good for engine start. We're going to hold the right engine start for 3 seconds. Wait for the light to come up. Good. We can hear the pack turn off. That's good. N2's rising. It is pushing us back in the right direction, but I find that I often have to start it via Shift P again, otherwise we're going to do a total like 360 here. Alright, 20% N2. Let's go ahead and give us some engine power. Oh wow, it stopped the turn. That's unique. I don't think I've ever had it just stop like that. Nice. Oh, cool. And the pushback's complete, so we can set the parking brake. Let's go back to our stat page. Okay. There's now someone flying to Albany from Buffalo in a 777. That's a big plane for this airport. Can be done though, especially if you're going to Albany. You got very little fuel. That thing could take off like a rocket. Alright, so engine 2 is stable. Everything's in the green. Looks good here. Let's get number 1 going, I should say. Lights on. You hear the pack turn off. Good. N2's rising. Oh, 20%. I keep thinking 737, and I'm going for 25, but it's a CRJ. It should be 20. Alright, everything's rising. Looks good to me. Hey Mushy, did you get that new job that you were talking about the last time I saw you? Alright, look at that. We have 2 good, stable engine starts. I love to see it. Both engines are all in the green. Sweet. So after start, generators, verify they're all on auto, which they are. We'll check our electronics panel and just verify we're getting engine generator. Yes, we are. Sweet. Bleed valves are all on auto, which they are. Yep, good. Packs are on. Yep, APU we can shut off. And we're just going to verify that we'll go back to our stat page. Verify that the door's closed, the SOV and the LCD, yep, that's good. Anti-ice probes are coming on. We're not looking at any clouds or anything. We might have a little visible moisture, so for now, let's go ahead and actually turn the anti-ice on for the cowl. Okay, that looks good. Alright, anti-ice is good. And nose wheel steering will arm, and then before taxi, we'll do flaps 8 for departure. That was our plan. Verify flaps 8. And look at that, flaps 8, cool. Alright, so trims are green and checked. We'll double check those. Nice, 6.4, that's where we want to be. We'll go to the flight control page and just verify that we get full right. Good. Full left. Good. Elevator forward. Good. Rudder full right. Good. Elevator full left. And flight controls are free and correct. So now we go back to the stat page. We'll go ahead and actually box the stat page at this point. That way we can see better if something pops up. The thrust reversers are armed. Flight instruments are checked, and brake temp is all zeros. Excellent. Love to see it. So we'll go ahead and deset the parking brake here. And come up top, and we'll turn the dome light off so we can see a little bit better outside. Nose and recog lights can get turned on, and we're ready to taxi. Alright, nice. We'll get this camera nice and centered and make a radio call. Buffalo traffic, Endeavor 4639 is at gate 20, going to be taxiing to runway 23 via Alpha, Buffalo. Nice, nice, and nice. Cool, let's go ahead and get her moving. And we're relatively light, so idle thrust is actually already giving us a little bit of power on the ground. And we'll hop right onto Alpha over here. I'm pretty sure these chevrons don't exist in real life. I'm not sure why they're there in the scenery, but whatever. This is default scenery. Alright, we're going to be crossing runway 32, so let's get our strobes and landing lights all on. Buffalo traffic, Endeavor 4639 is crossing runway 32 on Alpha, Buffalo. Should look both ways, but we're just trying to get back into it today. Right on. Strobes off and landing lights off. Good. Buffalo traffic, Endeavor 4639, clear of runway 32, taking Alpha to runway 23, Buffalo. Right on. Okay. Mushy, my friend, it really is good to see you back, though. Thanks for stopping in, even if it's briefly. I really do appreciate that. Does mean a lot to me. Okay, ground speed's getting a little high, so we'll just apply a little bit of braking here. We got up to 25 knots, but I don't like going much faster than 20. There's really no reason to. We're not southwest, so no reason for that. And just like that, runway 23 is coming up relatively shortly. Oh, and you know what? I forgot that I have ATC on my headphones, so I probably should throw those on. Alright, we're running quick before takeoff. Lights and strobes are all going to come on. Wing inspection included. Manual override. Flight attendants, prepare for departure. Transponder and TCAS is good. Radar, terrain display good, and CAS is checked, and we have no messages, so we're looking very, very good. And we'll throw it in toga mode. Buffalo traffic, Endeavor 4639 is taking runway 23, departing westbound Buffalo. Alright, so we'll line up nicely with the center line here. Alright, engines are going up to 60%. Alright, engine stable, toga. Airspeed's alive. $80 knots, cross check. 100 knots, release forward pressure. V1, rotate. Definitely make sure we don't tail strike. Good to go. Now we're up in the air. Alright, we have a positive rate. Gear up. And we'll drop the nose a little bit. Don't want to go too crazy with that. Little sensitive. Alright. Alright, we can go flaps 1. Try and use trim to my advantage here. and flaps can go up. And we'll match the flight director. Actually, we'll go ahead and set the climb mode, heading, autopilot engage. I actually didn't realize I wasn't on a 235 heading. That's fine though. Good thing ATC's not online. We'll go to our FMS and we are, you know, safe enough to go to Donio, so let's execute that. Okay, good. And we'll turn on nav mode. And we'll increase our climb speed to 250 nice and slowly, or not. The plane just wants to really pitch down hardcore. I feel like the autopilot is pretty late to respond to the flight director, but CRJs, I guess. Let's see if my views saved, shall we? Oh, they did. Nice. Look at that. Nice. Alright, so we're climbing at 250. We're intercepting our track. This autopilot is being pretty friendly to me today, which I like. And are we going to enter Toronto's airspace? No, we are not. Okay. So no ATC at all, not too much of a problem. We are getting above the cloud layer, that's neat. Alright, climb check. Fuel, crossflow can go to auto. Bleeds in APU. We're fine on the APU. Bleeds are set. Thrust reversers can come off if I can get the proper view loaded. And lastly, CAS is checked and we have nothing new. Sweet. What we are going to do is rebox the stat page. Try and recenter our view. 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and chime. 10,000 feet, and we'll set climb to 290. Nice and slowly so the plane doesn't dive bomb itself. Even if you change it a couple of knots, it likes to force itself down pretty good, so okay. Gonna go through a nice thick cloud right over here. Well, you know what? Probably would help to go back to climb thrust. It's probably a good idea. And now that we're actually on track, we will throw a heading sync in there. Sweet. Now, climb check is complete, so we'll get descent check ready, and we'll just get our arrival ready to go as well. Just to save us a little bit of time later on, so we're not frantically trying to search for these things. Okay. There's that thick cloud we wanted to go through. Well, wanted to is far-fetched, but I kind of wanted to. Oh yeah. forgot I flipped the seatbelt sign, or sorry, the smoking sign on and off, so we gotta rebox our stat page. And just like that, we're looking out of the clouds. A little bit of like, I don't want to call it wispiness, it's a little bit thicker than wispy, but you can kind of see through it, so it's not too dense. We're at 18,000 feet, altimeter is going to standard. And before we know it, if I could speak, we'll be at our cruise altitude of flight level 200. Alright, activity banner is going to come on for just a little bit while we cruise. Kind of wonder, is the cabin still lit? Probably. Yes, it is. Very bright, actually. Right on. I wonder if you can control that in this. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, and actually, we should pull our throttles back. I know our VNAV says we should be cruising at Mach 0.71, but that's it's a little fast based off of the conditions that I'm seeing. It brings us pretty much right to the red arc, so I might just stick to where I'm at now, the Mach 0.70. That's probably the best move. Like so. Alright, and we're pretty much out of the icing conditions, so I'm just going to turn the wing inspection lights off. Cowl anti-ice can actually go off for now. But if I do suspect we'll go back into any sort of cloud activity, I'll just flip those back on and pay attention to the wing ice as well. Alright, cool. So, for the short time that we're in cruise, we're going to kick back, relax, and enjoy the view, and we should be in Detroit in 30 to 35 minutes, something around there. And then we will take a short break, hop into the 737-800, and continue with our second leg. So yeah, I'll be around, but sit back, enjoy. See you soon. One thing that's kind of interesting is all this traffic you see on the right side here. That's actually going into Toronto, which we are, you know, quite a distance from, but we can see it, which is cool. This is Air Canada 43 Yankee. Don't know where he's going. We'll find out in just a second here. Oh, going to Reagan, DCA. Nice. Off to Reagan he goes. All these other guys look like rivals, so. Tempted to tune into approach just to listen to people talk. Yeah, I'll probably just skip that. Alright, and just as we're approaching our top of descent, we're going to just review over here. So at Wolfman, we want to be at 280 knots, or at least until we intercept 280 knots, Mach speed-wise. But flight level 240 or above, which we can actually nullify because we're at 200, you know, kind of just how it is on this particular flight. So we'll skip that altitude restriction, that'll be fine, but the next one is Top Gun, remain at 280 knots, between 1,000 and 4,000, then it's down to, is this supposed to be Hollywood or something, between 8 and 10,000, then down to 7,000 for Chester, like Chester the Cheeto guy, I don't know. And then we stay at 7,000, but then we start slowing down, and then Ryder's our last waypoint, and we vector ourselves for the ILS 22 right. Alright. Sounds good to me. And the current altimeter at Detroit is 29er, so we will keep that in mind as well once we begin our descent, because we will be descending below 18,000. Alright, top of descent is approaching very shortly, so let's go to our checklist. Descent, landing elevation is set. Fuel, we'll double check, but should be good. 53.93, yeah, we have like planned fuel is 3,000 something. Minimum fuel at landing. Oop, went too far down. So minimum landing fuel is 30.40. Oh yeah, that's a reserve, so yeah, okay. We have plenty of fuel. TCAS is set, we're good there. Radar, we're not expecting any crazy weather, so that it can stay off. CAS is checked, nothing crazy shot up. Landing data is set, approach briefing, yep, this is the arrival. Going into the RNAV Yankee, or I'm sorry, the ILS Yankee, 22 right into Detroit, which it looks like we should be able to vector ourselves. And like I said, the bottom altitude is 11,000 for Top Gun, so we'll set the bottom altitude now. Like so. Oh, and our top of descent just very strangely changed to behind us. So let's start with a nice gradual. Says we should only need 1,300 at this point. We have our VNAV profile on the FO's MFD. We'll really pull those throttles back. We don't want to speed too much. And we should be descending at Mach 0.65, so that's what we're going to shoot for. And since we're going below 18,000, we'll just set the altimeter now, 29er, 89er. Our speed is decreasing, which is good. Our descent check is complete, so we'll flip over to before landing. Flight attendants will advise passenger signs are still on. It's a short flight. Thrust reversers, we'll arm those later. We'll double check our checklists later on. I'm not really convinced that our Mach speed is going to meet our indicated airspeed, so let's just slow it down to 280. And that's 18,000, so let's advise final descent. Like so. And the final descent camera's coming up. And according to this, we're actually descending too quickly. We're going to meet 11,000 well before Top Gun, so let's decrease that rate a little bit. See what 800 feet per minute gets us. We'll speed bug 280. Can even do 700 feet per minute, honestly. I wonder why our top of descent moved behind us later on. That was strange. And then after Top Gun, we're down to 8,000 and then 7. Okay. And then our speeds don't change until Ghost. At Ghost, we want 210 knots. Good to know. So in that case, we'll go ahead and we'll get the approach loaded up ahead of time. ILS Yankee, 22 right, so 111.75, which we'll make sure is loaded later. Final approach course is 213. Cool. Decision altitude is 892. We'll have to remember that one. Airport elevation is 645. Touchdown zone 642. Missed approach is a climb to 1100, then climbing right turn to 4000. Outbound on the Detroit VOR. So, yep, climbing, and we'll intercept the, what is that, the, oh, I missed it. There we go. 297 radial to the don't intersection, and we'll hold there, and it looks like we're going to do a parallel entry because we're coming exactly opposite direction. Cool. Good to know. Our speed is right on 280. I love to see that. Hold it there as long as we possibly can. And then after Top Gun, we're going to increase our descent rate just a little bit, because we want to be between 8 and 10, and the rate that we're going now is just going to be too slow. I'm sure we could be below 10,000 by then, but we might be too high to make the 7,000 foot restriction by Chester. Not as good as that angle is going to get. Right on, and we'll double check our VREF speed because I always forget to do that in the CRJ. VREF is 140. Alright, cool. Am I able to mark that? Not good. Hold on. So we'll stay at around 140. Nice and gradual descent rate going. This is probably the slowest descent I've been able to do in a CRJ ever. Another curiosity. Lead-ins. Not one that I can see on the chart. Okay. Oh, and you know what? Cowl anti-ice can go on. We're within that range, temperature-wise. We are very close to Top Gun, so pretty soon we're going to lower our altitude on the altitude bug. 1,000 to go. Crossing over right about now. I feel confident enough to do it now. We're not going to bust that restriction. There we go. We crossed over Top Gun. Let's go ahead and increase that descent rate just a little bit. We'll see what 1,500 gives us from now. It might be just a little too much, so let's slow that down. We'll do about 1,200. We're keeping it at 280 for now, but pretty soon we're going to have to reduce to 250 because we're going to hit 10,000. And we'll actually reduce the zoom on the map so we can see a little bit more. Alright, slowing down to 250. We're going to turn the landing lights on ahead of time. Oh, I never turned them off. Nice. Real smooth. Wing inspection lights can get turned back on. How do I remember to turn those off, but not the landing lights? Okay, we'll use a little bit of braking assistance here. So we don't want to be too fast. Busting the 250 by just a little bit. I was slow to the decel. Alright, that's good. And we'll keep at 250 knots. Slow the descent rate just a little bit, because again, we're going to... I don't want to hit 8,000 at the waypoint, because we'll have plenty of space to get down from this one to Chester. Going into the clouds a little bit, into the soup. Alright, and down to 7,000. And it's trying to... get me a little bit early there. Oops. Sped up a little air on the descent, didn't mean to do that. We will stay at 250 for now, and then we want to be at 210 on the speed by the time we get to Ghost. Or Ghost, because it is G-O-H-S-T. And we'll start our decel to 210 now. It was almost at 7,000. We're just about there. Got a little bit of time to slow down, so we really don't need speed brakes. And then leaving Ryder, we'll probably head about 270, trying to vector ourselves towards the ILS. 22 right. Okay, we're at 210. Let's try and keep that. And looking at the charts here, 4,000 by Tatel. Looks like Emin might be our first spot, 3,000 by Emin. So, based off of what's in the FMS, we're getting vectors to Wonder Angel. Okay, yeah, so we're going to want 3,000 feet. That's fine. Works for me. It's really interesting. Looks like there's ice on the wiper blades, huh? Probably because those aren't heated. So let's go ahead and set our heading bug to... You know what, I'm comfortable with 260 to start off with. It'll take us a little bit direct towards the Wonder waypoint. After all, there's no ATC, we are vectoring ourselves. We do have ground contact, it looks to be pretty VFR down there, so... I'm not worried about hitting anything. Plus minimum safe altitude, let's see what we're looking at here. 2,800. How far out? 25 standard. So 25 miles from the Detroit VOR. Yeah, we're going to be fine at 3,000. Roger that. So we're going to flip to heading mode because already we cross Ryder and this aircraft is trying to take us into whatever direction the end of the arrival has us going to. So we'll just skip that for now. We're going to go down to 3,000. And we'll do so at like 1,300 feet per minute. And we'll manage the throttle so we don't exceed 210 knots. Do we want to be at 3,000 for that long? Probably not. We'll do 1,100. That'll bring us... Okay, that's an acceptable distance from Wonder to hit our bottom altitude. Oop, going a little fast. I'm going to turn us a couple more degrees. We'll do a heading of 250. That'll be our 30-degree intercept. And then we'll actually go to... what you doing? We'll go to nav source, localizer 1. And then before we intercept that localizer, we'll flip it back to nav mode as it's intercepting. Once that needle starts moving in. And honestly, at this time, we could probably arm the approach mode. I have a feeling it's going to do just fine, because now we do have the glide slope and the localizer. The glide slope came in just 10 seconds ago. I watched it pop up, so I feel comfortable arming approach mode. Oh. I feel like we're getting a nice indication here. Really interesting. Kind of curious if you can see it from the outside. No, not visualized, but we got the indicators, so I'm just gonna throw that on there. Part of me is almost wondering if it's worth it to throw it into nav mode just because we're still descending, but I think we're hitting that 3,000 feet before we intercept the localizer, so I'll just leave it where it is. We'll wait for that needle to come in. Detroit traffic Endeavor 36 or 4639 is about 15 miles to the northeast inbound ILS 22 right, Detroit. Forgot to vocalize that I switched over to the CTAF frequency for Detroit. Is that needle coming in? Is there a reason we're turning already? Oh yeah, the needle is coming in. Okay, cool. Oh, we're going to 22 right. Okay, it did level out. So we'll get flaps 1 just ahead of time. And I'm cool with about 200 knots for now. And just so it's ready to go, I'm ready to load up the airport. I'm good with everything that I have read. Oops. No, 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 no. Don't want that. The sim menu gets me every time. Okay, so the aircraft is attempting to line up with the ILS. That's good. Go ahead and we'll slow down to 180 knots. Oop, that's not where my mouse is. And we'll zoom in on the map. Right there's about 180 knots right there. So it very slowly intercepted that needle, which is interesting. I would have rather kept the heading until the turn, you know, came out, but there's no traffic, not as worried about it. Now is the aircraft going to maintain center? It looks like it. Ooh, we have a 31 knot crosswind right here. This is, seems a little bit windy at Detroit, huh? 280.11, that's not crazy, but wind at altitude is definitely an interesting thing. Okay, glide slope's coming in, we'll drop the gear. Okay, I was wondering if we were gonna get down on glide slope, but we are. Oh, but it's gonna bob a little bit, I guess. I'm sure the passengers love that. Alright, we'll go flaps 8. Detroit traffic, Endeavor 4639 is on a 5-mile final, runway 22 right, Detroit. Okay, we'll go flaps 20. Slow down to 160. Yeah, this is a really stiff crosswind up at altitude. No indicators of wind shear though. Okay, flaps 30, and we'll go down to, we'll keep about 145, 150. It's a lot of ice on the wiper blade. I have no idea what's going on. Make sure we don't get too slow. Okay, we have 3 greens, flaps are down. Oh, thrust reversers. Almost forgot to double check the checklist. Single pilot, what are you going to do? Yeah, the wind is deteriorating quickly. It's dying off, so not going to have that stiff of a crosswind on the runway. But it is bringing us off center a little bit, so I'm taking it by hand, autopilot disconnect. Didn't get the noise, which is weird. Okay. Just going to bring it in my hand, use the ailerons to slide back to center line. Okay, we're catching it again.
400.
Getting a little low on glide slope, so let's fix that.
300.
It's the trim in our favor.
200.
It's weird, a big old building like that right at the end of the runway.
150.
Okay. Probably going to land a little long.
40, 30, 20,
Oh.
10.
Yeah, pretty long, I guess. Come on, touchdown, baby. Just within the legal zone. 168's not bad. Maintain that center line. Okay, we ease that nose down, that's good. We're going to skip this first high-speed pass. But we're going to slow down by the second one. Alright, look at that. 60 knots, the reverser's out. Forgot to call 2 in reverse. Oops. Yeah, we had quite some wind from the right side. Pretty close to the ground. But it died down pretty quickly. Alright, we'll clean up the flaps. Let's go ahead and turn on the APU. The door's open. A little bit harder of a left turn than I thought it was about to be. Alright. Cool, APU starting. Let's check our map real quick. So we're on Alpha. Detroit traffic, Endeavor 4639 is clear of 22 right, taking Alpha Romeo to the gates. Detroit. Hopefully, ooh, I did manage to stay mostly on center line. Okay. Alright, cool. So we'll come up top. These lights can go off, wing inspection off, strobes off. All the anti-ice can come off for now. Probes included. Not too bad. Could have been a little more on center line at the very end there. Did kind of land with a little bit of a crab angle there, like a 3-degree right side slip, which is, it's not a lot, but could be better. Could always be better. Right on, so after landing APU is on, transponder we'll just leave on because we still are on VATSIM. Slats and flaps are zeroed, lights are all set, and probes are off. Cool. Nice. Alright, we're clearing both sides. We don't have any traffic in the Detroit area that we have to worry about, so we'll just call crossing. Strobes are going on. Detroit traffic, Endeavor 4639 is crossing 22 left on Romeo, Detroit. And we'll wrap around because we're going to the Charlie gates. So I think I'm going to hop on Kilo here and just wrap around the terminal on the south side. This is the de-ice pad right in front of us. So we don't want to cut through there. They wouldn't like that very much. We could have taken that. We'll take the next one. Just for extra space. It never hurt no one to be a little on the safe side. Oh, this might still be the de-ice pad. Oh, wow. Oops. Thought I was further south than that. No, I'm not. Okay. That's fine. We'll continue. Just make the left coming up here. Why was there a building right at the end of the runway right there? It's a pretty tall building too. Alright, to the Charlie gates we go. And I'm honestly not going to be super picky on which Charlie gate I go to. Probably first available one is fine. Oh yeah, never. No. Nope. Man, that toolbar. That's going to get me. Okay, thank you. What did I want? Oh yeah, strobes off, landing lights off. Forgot to turn all that off. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn right here. Oh. Oh, the line's right here. What am I doing? Although that line might be a little too close to that jet bridge. Maybe. Yeah, I gotta work on getting some good scenery so like jet bridges can match and the things I do can make a little bit more sense. We'll just probably stop it right about here. I feel like that should be fine. Okay. Gonna go ahead and hit the parking brake. Turn the engines off. Get the lights off, dome light on. There we go. Fuel pumps can come off. Alright, parking brake set, seatbelt signs. Yep, they can get out of their seats now. Good. Thrust levers are shut off. Sweet. Fuel pumps are off. Anti-ice is off. Beacon is off. Nose wheel steering. Oh, why do I keep thinking I'm hitting the right button, but I'm definitely not. Right on. So now, thrust reverser's off. Cool. So now we can place some chocks, open the door, and get the jet bridge pulled up to the aircraft, and then we are complete for our first leg of the night. Now with that in mind, I'm going to check the status. Okay, the plane, so that's in like 3 hours from now. Oh yeah, I could move quick enough and get the second flight done. Okay, yeah, we got time to do it as long as I move quick. Okay, that's good to know. Alright, well there you have it. That is our first leg of the night. Endeavour Flight 4639 under the Delta connection. Again, I have done this flight in real life very recently. Look at that. I'm pretty much right on. Sweet. But yeah, that's our first leg of the night. Welcome to Detroit. For our second leg, we're going to be in the 737-800. We're going to be coming out of the Alpha gates, and it's going to be to Minneapolis, St. Paul from there. So, since I am a little bit limited on time, I'm going to get cranking right away, but stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, because we're going to be right back with some good stuff. All right. Alrighty, right on. So now we are loaded in the Boeing 737. The one thing I did do was turn the battery on because, well, unlike my Flight Sim 2020, you can't operate the FMC with the battery off, even just the external stuff like the sim stuff, which is fine. So I left the battery on so I could set the plane up and get ready to go. So we're looking really, really good for now. So we're going to try and speed run this as fast as we possibly can from a cold and dark setup. The only difference is the battery is on, and we'll get up in the air and get ourselves to Minneapolis, St. Paul. So first things first is we're going to come up top here to the overhead panel. The battery is on. The emergency lights can be armed. That is what I'm looking for. And then we'll go ahead and start the APU. And we'll look for the APU gen amperage up here. And we'll come outside because, oh, you know what? I don't have the Boris Audio Works for 2024 yet. That's my bad. That's something I should have gotten, but down the road, whatever. That's what happens when life gets in your way. Don't have a lot of time for sim stuff. Anyway. Okay, camera's coming on as we're waiting for the EGT to do what it's supposed to do and the APU power to become available. APU generator, shall I say. And then from there, we'll get power, check the amperage, everything should be good, and then we'll go up top, make sure the IRSs are in nav mode, and let them align. Bingo, there we go. What's really nice is it's got the panel lights on for you, that's kind of cool. Coming over the top here, boom, IRSs, both in nav mode, and heading status is already on for us, it looks like. Just waiting for that to show up, see how many minutes it takes. Oh, right, I still haven't figured out how to set it to realistic. Okay, that's fine. So, cool. Anyway, all of our flight controls and spoilers, everything up here is closed and guarded. That's good. Alternate flaps are off. Standby hydraulics. We'll turn the yaw damper on since the IRSs are aligned. Lights should extinguish. Yes, it does. Navigation switches are all in the normal mode. Displays are auto. Control panels normal. Good. Fuel pumps can stay off for now. APU gen 28 amps. We're getting positive charge. Looks good to me. The ACs are both on. That's good. Battery disconnects are closed and guarded. Standby power is auto or off and guarded, whichever one it is. I can't remember. I think it's auto. APU generators on. Good. The EGT for the APU looks good. We have circuit breaker lights. Toasty Oats, hey bro, at a bar right now. Oh, nice. You're watching me at a bar? Well, that's actually really cool. You going ham or what? Do you not work tomorrow? Anyway, equipment cooling is in the normal position. Emergency lights are armed and guarded. These lights are all extinguished. That's good. Fasten seatbelt signs can come on. Testing our buttons. That looks good. Window heat can all come on. Good. Probe heats can stay off for now. We don't need any anti-ice stuff. Hydraulic pumps can stay off for now. Test the cockpit voice recorder. Get a green light. Yep, there we go. Cabin pressure is all 0, which is good because we're on the ground. Excellent. Voice recorder is in the auto. The duct temp is looking fine. We'll go ahead and get the APU bleed on and then turn off the engine bleeds so we don't get the dual bleed. Temp should come down. That's good. Nope, I work. I should probably go home soon. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you work early tomorrow, don't you? It's it's your early job. Alright, so PEX can go on auto. And look at that, we get a little bit of temperature change, that's good. Cruise altitude today is 38,000 feet. All the way up there. Landing elevation is 842, so we'll send that to 850. Nope, way too much. There we go. Logo lights on, the nav lights are already on, that's good. So we'll come up here, test the flap lights. Looks good, 7. 7's not terrible. You can go back and get your 8 hours of sleep. You hammered or what? Alright, IRSs are in nav mode. The aligns are blinking because we haven't set a position yet, which we will do momentarily. Dome light can stay... I'll leave it off for now. We got plenty of light in here. Don't want to blind ourselves. Reverser lights are off. That's good. EECs are on and guarded. Excellent. Engine controls. Lights are extinguished. Crew oxygen above 15. Passenger oxygen normal and guarded. Light extinguished. 3 greens for the landing gear up top. Flight recorders normal. Mach airspeed warning's good. Don't have enough pressure. Oh, wait. Oh. Okay, we have a little bit of stick shaker. That's good enough for me, just for the sake of time. Coming to the throttle quadrant. Thrust levers are idle. Reverser stowed. Speed brakes are stowed. Flaps are up. Good here. Parking brake will set this time. We'll test the fault or not. Good. Engine fire. Good. Extinguisher lights. Green. Green. Oops, that's the wrong one. Come down here. Everything's good on the radio side of things. We'll tune into CTAP momentarily. Turn these panel lights up just a little bit. Do the cargo fire test. Looks good to me. The radar display's fine. We did get a squawk code from Auto ATC, which we'll pull up now. We're squawking 2542. 2542, like so. Gonna verify it aligns with my radio. Yep, it communicates with my radio. That's good. We'll do transponders on, altitude sources 1. That's good. And we'll just do TARA on the ground because we are on VATSIM. All the trims look good. Excellent. Everything's in a great condition. Oops, that was the wrong button. Okay, now we're going to the FMC. We're going to get a position in it. I should have actually yep. Okay, so the database is up to date. Good. Position in it. Our reference airport, we are at Detroit. So we'll throw that in there. Good. Go to the next page. We'll grab our GPS position. Copy that there. Route origin is DTW. Like so. And we are going to MSP. And we are Delta 2203 today. So we'll throw that in there. Flight number, excellent. And that looks good to me. Our departure today, we are doing the MiGI 3. We're doing the SLAP transition. And we will be taking off from, according to SimBrief, runway 21 right. Interesting. So, next page, 21 right, like so. Alright, route, activate, execute, and then go back to our OFP here. And from there, after SLAP, we are taking Quebec 440, like so, to Idiom, like that. And Idiom is actually our transition into our arrival, which is the Muscle 3. So we'll select Muscle 3, Idiom transition, and SimBrief is telling us 30 left, but I know that's wrong because I know MSP a little too well. Coming from Detroit, we should be on 30 right, which I'm going to put in there. So we're going to execute that, go to legs, verify there are no discontinuities. There is one, so we'll copy Sam's here, bring it back after Turtle. And that looks good, so we'll execute that, go back to route. We're going to do perf-init. Our zero fuel weight today is 119.6. Like so. Gross weight 144.7. That's not correct. Why is that not correct? Payload. 108. That's weird. My ramp weight is telling us we should be 135.5. So why? 108 passengers, 5940 in cargo. There's no other pages. Why would that be? Oh, that would be why, because I never set the fuel on. Wow. 15,841. I thought I set everything, and of course I didn't. There we go. That's what I did wrong. Alright, back to it. Yep, 135.5. There we go. Alright, reserves are 5.3. It's 52.77, so we'll round up. Cost index today, we're looking at 38. Like so. Cruise, it's going to be flight level 380. Cruise winds, we're looking for 280 at 89. Like so, and everything else looks correct. Cool. So N1 limit. So real quick, we're going to go to our EFB, and we're going to do the performance tool. Oh, you know what? I'm going to verify that. Yes, there we go. That loaded in just fine. So we're taking runway 21 right, and we're going to import the data from aircraft, import the weather, 2992. Is that right? Oh, what do you know? The altimeter setting did in fact raise to standard. Nice. Cool. So that's all good, and we'll calculate. Alright, so we're doing a flaps 5 departure. We're doing a takeoff 2D rate. Okay, nice. And N1 should be 86.4. V speeds 137, 138, 141. Okay, let's double check here. So we're doing a takeoff 2. The percentage is not entirely correct. It might have to do with something. I didn't set the select temp. 45 is our select temp. Like so. Okay, that's closer. Cool. So we're doing a flaps 5. CG trim. Trim should be 5.23. So let's go ahead and set that real quick. That turned into a weird vibrating mess over here. Sweet, looks good to me. Excellent. Yep, the V speeds do in fact match. I love it. Runway wind is, what was it, 290 at 3? Yeah, the wind's really calmed down. Oh wait, no, that's the temperature. 290 at 16, okay. Like so. Oh, and it, okay, yep. One number changed, but I'm not too worried about that, so that looks good. So we have our performance data, we have our route, everything is looking good. Double check our VNAV. It's pretty high for the speeds, so I might reduce that. 0.80 is probably touching the red arc, which I don't like, so we'll just skip that for now. We'll change it if we need to later on, but everything else looks good. Alright. We'll turn down the brightness of these panels real quick, just because it's night outside. Although it does look like they're kind of auto set for us. We'll just do it a little bit darker, like so. And then we do need to turn these floodlights off because those are way too bright. We don't really need floodlights. That's all fine. And lastly, okay, that works for me. All right. So now everything's loaded. We look good there. Get rid of the master cautions, and we will pull up our flight bag. Just get the airport information ready to go, so we have our taxiways. We are taking 2-1 right, so it looks like we're going to wrap down to Juliet and just take Papa all the way up. That works for me. So Juliet, Papa. Cool. Right on. So we're looking good here. And we do have our RNAV departure loaded. I love to see it. Our IRSs are aligned. So let's go up top here. So now we're going to get ready for pushback. Fuel pumps can all come on. Let me verify there's nothing in the center tank. There is not. So the center pumps can stay off. Flip this over to engine gen so we can get good indications there. Seatbelt signs are on. Prokeets stay off for now. Hydraulic pumps can come on. Lights extinguished. Good. Sweet. Packs can stay on until we're ready for start. And we'll go ahead and turn our beacon on. And everything up here looks exactly as it should. Nice. So we are just about ready for pushback. Let's go ahead and get ready for push. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and close and arm the door. And we'll arm it like so. And then ground services will relinquish the jetway. Now we should probably come out and make sure it detaches. Yes, it does. Come back down to here. Remove the chocks. And do I dare see if this pushback works? We want our nose to go to the left. Alright. Let's see if this works. And I don't think it's going to. Okay, that's fine. We'll just stop. And we'll do your classic Shift P. Or it's Control P on this one. Is it? Let me check my controls real quick, because this is where everything gets really weird. Keyboard. Oh, it's Alt-P. Good to know. Alright, let's do it. So the PMDG pushback function in the FMC does not work still. Oh yeah, and while we're waiting, we'll turn into CTAF, which is 1350. And let's just get Unicom on standby en route. Oops, I did not mean to hit the brakes. I was adjusting my feet and then made a whoopsie. Okay. And we have no ATC online, so we might as well just go to cruise. 38,000. Flight level 380. Okay. Alright, let's get this puppy started. So we've got packs off. Okay, we're going to do ground number 2. We got the change in duct pressure, start valves open, and N2 is rising. Alright, 25% N2, introduce fuel. And the engines do want to start this time, which is really nice. I'll just get off of this here. Alright, looks like we got a good start. And the engine is stable. Nice. So we'll come to engine 1, we'll ground it, look for the duct pressure, which we got the change. Start valve is open, N2 is rising. .25% N2, introduce fuel. You know. Alright, we have 2 good starts. The engine is stabilized. And we are looking good. Come over the top here. We'll flip over to engine gen. Verify we have positive amperage, which we do. 38, that looks good. APU can get turned off. Seatbelt signs are on. Probe heats can come on. Both lights extinguish. We will throw the engine ignition to continuous. And we're going to put on engine anti-ice because we are expecting to go through a relatively low layer of clouds around the freezing mark, so we'll be on the safe side. Packs can go to auto. Engine bleeds on. APU bleed off. And isolation valve to auto. And wing inspection lights will do that before takeoff. Flight directors can both come on. We will fix that. Good. We'll do runway heading, which is 210 roughly. Sweet. We'll put this to 180, but we're probably just going to do VNAV, so it works best. Okay. Flaps 5. And auto brake to RTO. And we will check our flight controls. Full right. Full left. Elevator. Okay, that looks good. Kind of interesting not to see the spoilers go up, but alright, that's fine. Alright, so engine data. We'll throw that all up here, and we are ready to taxi. Nice. So our brakes are now off, and we're ready to taxi. Sweet. Detroit traffic, Delta 2203 at the Alpha Gates, taking Juliet Papa to runway 21 right, Detroit. We'll do this to 215. That looks more accurate. Let's get this show on the road. Making sure that there's no chocks on or anything, which there's not. Let's try this again. So we should have been moving there. Didn't mean to fling those forward so aggressively. This is a little strange. I should be moving right now. There's no chocks. Pushback should be done. Wait. Moving. Chocks are removed. I wonder if this will work. I hate doing this, but Shift Z. Okay. hate doing this. So the parking brake is off. Speed brakes are stowed. That wouldn't be the issue, but they're stowed. So like, what is actually happening? Oh wait. I wonder if I accidentally did something else when I was trying to... Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. I think I got it. At least I hope I do. So, let me guess. Yep, here it is. That is probably the issue. Nope. So I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, trying to look it up, and this doesn't seem to be... Doesn't seem to be an issue people have run into before. Is this a yoke issue? Interesting. What? Up and my radio stack just turned off. What in the world? Oh, and now I can. Now I lost my radio stack. Why? I should have just reloaded the whole sim. Well, that kind of stinks because now I actually don't have time to do this flight. Oh man, okay. You know what I should have done is just reloaded the entire sim, because messed with the controls a little bit, and I got the plane to taxi, but then my radio stack shut off, and now it's less than 2 hours that I got to be at the airport, and I just don't have time to complete it. I would have been able to squeeze it in. I was doing so well at like basically speed running this whole thing, but now it's just kind of, I can't do it on time. Crap. Well, that stinks. My sincere apologies to the 2 viewers that I got, but I am not going to be able to complete this flight because I have to be at the airport for a de-ice request, and this is just going to take too much time, so yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. I haven't streamed for a while, and I was really excited to get back on and share the simulator love with y'all, but it's just not going to work out. So this is going to be it. Again, I'm very sorry. Just turn this on so I don't keep rolling. Actually, it doesn't even matter, but whatever. Okay, well, that's quite a bit of a bummer, but you know, whatever. It's just the way it goes sometimes, but at least we got one flight in there, and the flight, you know, in the CRJ actually went really well. You know, the landing was, you know, a little bit sloppy. We landed pretty long. We were just on the edge of like illegal on the touchdown zone. We made it just in time, but probably should have done the approach a little bit better so we didn't wind up in that position, but you know, there we were. But it was a smooth landing, a little off on keeping that center line. We had a 3-degree right side slip there, and we had to correct for that, but we were within an acceptable range. I'm pretty sure the left main gear was probably on the center line, so as long as the gear stays on the center line, that's, you know, that's the main goal, especially if you're dealing with the crosswind that we were dealing with. But the landing was super smooth. It went well. I feel like for not simming for a while, that was a pretty good landing, especially in the CRJ, which can be kind of, you know, touchy in 2024, just because 2024 I get a lot of, you know, stuttering and stuff. My PC's not exactly built, you know, for that game quite yet, so yeah. Dang. I don't know when I'm going to be live again. Still probably going to have a lot going on in these next couple of weeks, but hopefully I'll be able to get back on and do something fun on the simulator. Thank you to everyone who joined and watched for a little bit. It was good to see you again, Mushy. Sorry I missed you at the beginning of the stream there. I was a little too locked in. I didn't realize you were there, so my apologies, but thank you for joining me again. It's always good to see you, and I hope that job you were talking about worked out for you. Toasty Oats, thank you for stopping by and joining in. It's always good to see you, brother. And yeah, so that's going to be it. I hope everyone has a really great night, day, whatever it is, wherever you are, and thanks for joining me. Everyone take care of themselves, and until next time, we will see ya.